time since I've recorded one of these, because I've been stacking videos end on end and then putting them all out. But I think it's time I did a new one. In fact, it's time I did several new ones. So that's what I'm going to do. I also thought it's about time that we did another Painter's Progress video. It's been probably just over 6 months, in fact, since I did the last one. And I've painted a few things in that time, so I thought we should take a look at some of those. Now, actually, a lot of the things that I've painted in that time, I can't show you, because I've painted a few things for private projects that are not in the public eye at the moment, so I can't show you those things. I've painted a few things for other companies, commercial things, so I can't show you those things. And I've painted some of the Dreamstone figures. I've got a few down the front here that are still to go off to the people who ordered them. But I've been painting a lot of the Dreamstone figures for backers of the Kickstarter who pledged for painted ones. So those have all gone off to the people who ordered them, so I can't show you those either. So I have painted more than I've got out here, but this is what I can show you. Obviously this will be, you won't be able to see necessarily from this distance. I'll try and do a bit of a close-up sweep. But generally what I've been doing is I've been adding to my Wood Elf army, and in part this is mostly figures from Oakbound, from the Wardens of the Woods Kickstarter that funded a few months back, and those miniatures are on their way to the backers now. So hopefully these guys, around probably October, these guys will be in the shop. So I painted those up for the Kickstarter, but also to add into my Wood Elf army. And then in the last couple of weeks, ready for the big game that we just played this weekend, I've painted up some more treemen, a couple of eagles, and these the nice ex-Grenadier Wood Elves now available from Forlorn Hope. So I bought a bunch of those a few months ago and have just put some paint on those. So that's just a little bit of an addition to an army. I've also added a little bit to my Empire army, another unit of spears and swords to go into my Empire army. I finished up painting my Hero Quest set, my plastic Hero Quest set. So at some point I will get all of the miniatures out and I will show you everything that I've painted for my Hero Quest set. But this was zombies and some mummies. I think I mentioned in an earlier video that zombies in the Hero Quest set are my least favourite of the models. I quite enjoyed painting them when I got around to it, but they don't inspire me to paint them, so I sort of left them to last, which was probably a bad idea because it meant they didn't get painted for months after everything else was done and ready. But I have finally got some paint on these mummies and based them up to go with the rest of the set. So and sorry, these zombies and these mummies. So they were ready to go, and I was able to take them this weekend in this big box, which we'll look at again in a moment, because people said they wanted to have a look at that. I should say a couple of these treemen, one of them was from the Wardens of the Woods Kickstarter that Alessio sculpted for that. But these two are the resin and metal ones from Alternative Armies, and they painted up so quickly, but they look really nice. So do check those ones out; they're great. And then up here, I've got some stuff that I've been painting for the sort of fantasy medieval city that I got inspired by autumn last year, and was doing some boards, and you'll have seen I was doing some boards and some furniture for those, and I thought I'd invest in some civilians. So Midland Miniatures were doing this great set of halfling and human peasants, so I backed that. That arrived really quickly and got painted really quickly. It's probably the fastest turnover of any Kickstarter that I've received, certainly in the last few years. But then I also bought a bunch of Old Glory peasants. They work really well as agricultural folk, and then some of them I've sectioned out here as guardsmen. So they've got crossbows and burning torches. So they're going to be the sort of town night watch. And this blue box over here is also full of other Old Glory and other manufacturers' civilians that I haven't got around to putting some paint on yet. But one of the things that I was most excited about was I wanted to do a gong wagon and some gong farmers to walk around the streets of the city, and I figured that that's a job that's so disgusting that it would probably be given to goblins, and that they should have some ogres to pull the cart and shovel the shit off the streets. So these are also Midland Miniatures goblins and Alternative Armies, the old fantasy warlord ogres that I've put with a Midland cart. I think it's a Midland cart. Yes, it's a Midland cart that I mixed up some epoxy glue and bits of straw and flock and things that would look all sort of gloopy and nasty. Shoved that in the back of the cart, and then I've given them sort of custom-made shovels and bits and pieces. There's my gong farmers ready to go and scour the streets of the city. So I was quite pleased with how they have come out. Now we'll have a quick look at this box, because in this box is also something that I've been painting recently, but I might have to clear this lot to get it out. So I'll just show you the box for the moment. People were saying when I put posts on Instagram they want to see the box. Here is the box. It's a bit of a beast, and essentially my HeroQuest box was falling apart, as of course many people's HeroQuest boxes will be falling apart, but I wanted to save the artwork, so what I've done is made this wooden box that I've then sort of carved into the edges of to make it look a bit like stone, put sort of inlays in the sides of it to give it some interest, and it's got cutaways so that I've been able to recess the card artwork from the front and the sides of the box into there, so that everything's on display. And this is now big enough to hold all of these little plastic boxes that have my miniatures in, and the wooden boxes that have the furniture in, and all of the books and cards and things that I need to travel with. So that's it's pretty big and it's pretty heavy, so it's not the most portable of items, but the idea is that I can store everything together, and if I need to only take little bits at a time, I'll take little bits out, but I've got everything stored together in one place. So if I want to play here, I can just put this box on the table, open it up, decant stuff, and good to go. Right, I'm going to clear this lot out of the way, and then we will look at the last thing that I've been painting in the last 6 months. Okay, I've cleared some space, so let's get this thing out. It's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. So a few years ago I did a laser cut HeroQuest board, and what I did was I found a high-res scan of the board, and I put it in Photoshop, and I got rid of all of the colour from it, and I cleaned it up into a file that I could stick into a laser cutter, and then I laser engraved it, and then I painted it to match in with my advanced HeroQuest floor tiles. And then recently I had a look at it again, and I thought, you know what, I understand why I wanted a HeroQuest board to go with my advanced HeroQuest set, but I don't really like the advanced HeroQuest tiles. I much prefer the look of the original HeroQuest boards. I thought I should really do another one of these and paint it up to look like the HeroQuest board, because my friend Harry, who some of you will probably know, did that, and so I laser engraved a set for him, and he painted it up to look like the HeroQuest board, and it looked, I thought, much nicer. So I've done another one here. So I engraved another one, and I've resized it to fit. So these are 25mm squares to suit the 25mm round bases that I've put all my HeroQuest miniatures on now. But I also decided that I wanted to make the most of the size of this box. So these are now sized to be sort of a perfect fit for the box, or at least cut up in a way that makes them a perfect fit for the box. And I made a few additions to this version of the board. So I've I've engraved the monster stats on this side, so the evil wizard player can sit on this side and read off the monster stats. I'd already engraved this side, and the idea with these images was that these would form places where the card decks would sit. And I've added an extra row. I did this on the previous one as well, but I've added an extra row around the outside here. So you've got 2 wide spaces all the way around the outside of the board, just to allow a bit more room for maneuver and for combat to happen. But I've kept the narrow corridors to either side of the board and around the central room. I've seen some people do boards that expand those to 2 squares as well, and I totally understand why you would do that. But the problem with doing that is it makes it very hard to corner people. The monster player needs to be able to get the heroes trapped in a progression order as they're going through. And if you eliminate all of the single corridors completely, it's really hard to do that. So I wanted to keep single corridors where the board gets tight, so that the evil wizard player can trap the heroes quite effectively. And this is just dry brushed in regular Foundry and Vallejo acrylics. It took me, what did it take me? 2 or 3 hours probably to do all the dry brushing. I masking taped off the rooms and dry brushed them all separately, and then I spattered some inks on and things to give it texture. And then I went round and I refined all of the edges of the spaces with a black permanent marker pen. And then I used a white chalk pen to chalk in the outlines of the room. So it was pretty quick, but I'm pretty pleased with the effects. I think especially with this wood surround on it now, I think this is looking nice. So I'm looking forward to playing some more games. We did get halfway through, slightly more than halfway through the first Ogre Horde quest at the weekend, but sadly other more fun things, well, not more fun things, other things took over, and we didn't have a chance to finish it off. But I think we'll probably write that one off and then start again doing something else. It's very soon, now that I've got all the figures painted. So I'm going to try and come down in here. Hello, so I can see you. There we go. So I'm quite surprised actually by how much I've been able to put on the table for this Painter's Progress. One of the reasons that I've not done it for quite a long time is that I felt like all of the stuff that I painted has either gone off to other people or I can't really show it. So I thought that there would not be much to show. And actually everything that I've shown, yeah, except, no, including the Dreamstone figures, because those are a set that I've done for Mike Jupp, so they're going off to him quite soon. But everything that I've shown you was done in a couple of weeks around Easter, or the last couple of weeks at the end of July. So it's 6 months progress, but really that's about 4 or 5 weeks worth of very intensive painting, with either nothing else in the in-between time or stuff that I can't show you in the in-between time. So yeah, actually surprised that I managed to pull anything off at all. Hopefully next time there might be a bit more on the table, although who knows, life is complex. But see you again in 6 months for another Painter's Progress, and next week for another video. Thank you for joining me.